in the summertime was when he was moved into his very infamous feud with Shawn Michaels. And of course, they main evented SummerSlam together after Vader had pinned him in the 6-man tag at International Incident. And the SummerSlam main event is a very controversial one. It's very well known now what went down with Vader and Shawn Michaels. And when I look back at Vader's career, this was probably one of my biggest regrets. I think Vader was set to be WWE champion. I mean, he's a multiple-time former WCW champion. WWE needed all the stars they could get at that time. The roster was very weak in 1996. Not only did you have Bret Hart leaving right after WrestleMania 12, the Ultimate Warrior experiment didn't work out. He left, and of course, the two biggest ones, Hall and Nash, left and went to WCW to form the NWO. So Shawn Michaels was a champion without any challengers, essentially, during that time. So I thought Vader coming into the WWE would be a huge deal. And it was. I think the initial plan was to put the belt on Vader. But things happened. The SummerSlam match did not go well. There was a very famous botch that took place in that match where Shawn was going to come off the top rope with the elbow drop. Vader was supposed to move. Vader didn't move. Shawn then changed direction, landed on his feet in the ring, and yelled at Vader, who's laying down on the mat still, and told him to move, asshole, or whatever he said, and then stomped him right on his head. Completely unprofessional. What a dick. And there was another time, Jim Cornette has told this story on a couple of shoot interviews, where I think there was a house show or there was some other match going on with Vader and Shawn Michaels, and Shawn Michaels was yelling at Vader in the match because I think Vader was being a little rough with him, and Shawn Michaels said something like, if you ever do that again, I'm going to have you fired and shit. So Vader just ran into some political problems in the backstage area, and it really changed the trajectory of his career after that, because Shawn decided that he didn't want to work with Vader. Everything we saw take place with Sid and Shawn Michaels was initially planned for Vader. Vader, I believe, was the guy that was supposed to win the belt at Survivor Series 1996. And that makes sense because when you look at the finish of SummerSlam that year, Vader won the match like 2 or 3 times before Shawn finally got the pin in the end. So Vader looked strong as hell in that match with the several restarts and stuff. So it would definitely fit the storyline that he would get a rematch a couple of months later at another big pay-per-view in Madison Square Garden, beat Shawn Michaels for the belt, and then Shawn can beat him back for it at the Royal Rumble. But when the Ultimate Warrior left and they brought Sid back in, and then Shawn got pissed at Vader, he decided that he would rather work with Sid. And I remember they did a number 1 contenders match at In Your House. I believe it was Buried Alive. And it was Vader versus Sid, and the winner was going to face Shawn Michaels at Survivor Series for the title. And Sid won. Sid wound up beating Vader, setting up the babyface match with Shawn at Survivor Series. So everything was derailed with Vader in 1996. I would love to go back in time and to see what it would be like with Vader as WWE champion. I think he would have done a great job. I think the belt would have looked great on him. I think it would have even helped the legacy of Jim Cornette, because Jim Cornette could now be managing the WWE champion just a year or 2 after he managed Yokozuna as WWE champion as well. So Jim Cornette could have, his stock and his legacy in WWE could have increased greatly had he managed 2 different WWE champions. So I think it could have been fun if they went with the original plan, but Shawn Michaels was a different person back then, and he's to blame. He really is for a lot of Vader's shortcomings in WWE around this time. Not everything that happened to Vader was not his fault. I mean, Vader had his own problems as well. He could be kind of a pain in the ass sometimes. He could be whiny and shit. A lot of people have told stories about some of the more less likable things about Vader. But as far as his issues with Shawn Michaels in 1996 and his potential run with the WWE title, I'm putting all of that on Shawn's shoulders. It just sounded like had it not been for Shawn and his attitude, Vader would have been champion in the WWE.